Paying my dues. What is it? How do I pay my dues? How do I support new folks in doing so by paying my dues? We're going to get into some different variations, examples, and so on. But if you want to cut to the chase of it, paying your dues is doing your diligent work ahead of time. Learning your geology, learning how to do your research, learning how to locate sites, and things of this sort. If you prove your due diligence, then people will be willing to take you underarm and assist you in further learning your equipment and so on. You don't have to go out and buy a bunch of high-priced stuff to go, oh, I'm paying my dues. That does not pay your dues. It simply means you had a lot of cash to spend irresponsibly. At least in my opinion, you will not impress me by having a lot of gear. Paying your dues is, have you done your research? Do you understand the geology? I don't want to see people coming up going, okay, I've bought a pan and a shovel. Where do I find the gold? Or I'm new. Can somebody show me where to go for gold? No. 90% of the people, 99% of the people are simply going to tell you gold is where you find it. You have to take and do your research, go look for it, and things of this sort. They're politely telling you, pay your dues. Paying your dues comes from an old blues type sagas where I got it from. It was carried through the military. We'll get into that in the video. But the concept is we'll spend months or even years doing research before we even go to a location. We're paying our dues. We expect you to do the same. There's plenty of information out there. Okay? And the most you're going to get is people telling you, go to YouTube, check Google. So don't expect you're going to run in and go, hey, I bought this, show me where the gold is so I can get rich. It's not going to happen. And by not going to happen, I mean you're not going to get rich. At least not in the European areas. You'll do good if you're able to break even on your expenses. So if you're into this to get rich, you're in the wrong hobby. Okay? I take my gold, I turn it into jewelry settings for my wife. The stones and stuff that I pan, I take to a jeweler, they get cut, they get turned into jewelry, and she gets nice real gold, real gemstone jewelry at a quarter of the price of what, because I'm just paying the goldsmith and the stone cutter for their work. So please do not think that gold panning is going to make you rich. It will not. In most cases, it will drive you into the red, meaning you will lose money. All right? So let's get into this, and we'll look at some examples of paying your dues from different perspectives.
What I'm talking about, of course, is paying your dues. Now, for those that don't know what paying your dues means, paying your dues throughout history has encompassed a lot of different things. In the Middle Ages, it was the guild system. How well you as an apprentice put in your work. In later years, hunting, fishing, all of these had their, you got to pay your dues. It became a really known classical term during blues and jazz. The blues and jazz era. You had to pay your dues before you could sing the blues. It meant you either had to live, experience, or put in effort in a viable, tangible way. For instance, if I'm part of a gaming guild or whatever, I might show up for raids regularly. I might show up and help do training sessions for new people. In the military, paying your dues meant go get me a roll of flight line. I need a left-handed metric crescent wrench. Go to the motor sergeant and ask for it. These kind of things. Fishermen, for instance, you'd be new to the area. You'd go to the local bait shop. Hey, where's some good fishing places? The teller doesn't know you. Heck, he might not even know because, he just works there. Says, well, come in on Tuesdays. John is always here. He does a lot of fishing. He's our local retiree and expert fisherman. So you'd come back from that Saturday, you'd show up Tuesday. Now what you don't know is the kid at the cash register had already seen Tom Sunday or Monday and said, yeah, this guy was in here asking, I told him to come talk to you when you're here having your coffee in the cafe area. It's like, oh, okay, thanks. So when you get there, it's, oh, yeah, I heard you were looking for me. Come on in. And you'll sit there and talk. And what he's trying to do is gauge your intellect, your sincerity, your background, how much experience that you have. And if he's really not sure, he'll, yeah, I'll give you a couple of places. Go down here off such and such a road. You'll take a ride at this marker. Drive down to the river. Now, when you get to the river, you're going to have to hike your gear and go about a mile downstream. And there's a pool right after a waterfall. Catch a lot of fish there. Let me know how you do. And so that weekend, you pack your stuff, you drive down, you hike over, and the place is like rocky as hell. Trying to get your fishing gear or whatever down is like murder, but the fish may be there. So you get there, you fish all day, and you catch a lot of fish. But most of it's about that big. But you did catch a lot of fish. So you come back the following Tuesday and you meet the guy again. Yeah, I went down and, that stuff's really rocky. Yeah, I know, isn't it? Says, yeah, I didn't really catch anything. Not much of a, most of it was, brim, perch, a couple of schley or whatever, but, nothing really tangible. I was looking for something a little bit bigger. Oh, you're not looking for a big quantity, you're looking for big fish. Well, yeah, that's typically the routine. Well, I'll tell you what, go over here at this other place and go here, and you should be able to catch a few catfish there. Let me know how they go. So you go that weekend and you're trumping through woods across brambles and there, and you fish for the day and you do catch a few catfish. You come back, yeah, I think that was pretty good. I enjoyed that. It was, I caught a couple of flatheads. I caught at least one channel cat. It's real. The channel cat was nice. He was eating size. And at this point, you have basically, in a form, paid your dues. Most of this is trial. They just want to see if you're going to have the gumption, the stay withal, of going over those boulders and everything, of going through those brambles. Are you willing for your craft to put in a little pain, effort, and time? Okay, a little sweat and tears, if you will. At which point, you've impressed the guy. He's got his eye on you at this. Tell you what, this Saturday I'm going to go over to this one pond, and we're going to do a little bass fishing. Tell you what, you meet me over here meet me here at the shop at this hour, and you can follow us down, and we'll do a little fishing together. Now, he's not taking you to his prime fishing spot, because just like gold, fish take a long time to reproduce in many cases to get large. And you've got to, he wants to make sure if he's going to take you out, he wants to now see how you react on the water. How do you tie your lines? What hooks do you use? What methods of fishing do you use? Which lures would you pick for whichever particular fish? Do you understand the bioculture? Do you understand the habitat? All right. So after one or two of these trips, then you're getting along pretty well. He likes you. You've proven yourself, and now he might start taking you to those spots where he's getting those 50 to 80 pound catfish. And this is your pay the dues in fishing. Let's look at a different culture, military. Now, in the military, you pay your dues a little bit by doing your job, how fast you get promoted from an E1 to an E4. These are paying your dues. But the culture has developed another way of paying your dues, and that is commanders and service coins. If you do something well ahead of the others, advanced in your PT, taken additional training, whatever, then you get special coins. And it's basically tradition now when you go with your buddies to drink. If you don't have your coin and lay it on the table to show your dues, you got to pay your dues by buying the round of drinks. All right? And so we've, over the years, like, here is a Command Sergeant Major's Coin of Excellence. Here is a Commander's Award coin for excellence in the field. I've got, let's see, this was my coin for completing all training and taking over a fire team at the 235th Base Support Battalion. That one was presented by the command itself, which means the serving commander. Let's see, this one was another one for the ADA battalion. I had my coins. I had paid my dues. All right. In blacksmithing, you start off with your basic stuff. You got to show your skills. And you work up to more advanced stuff. Eventually, you have to show your excellence by formulating. Now, if I was going for a master's in blacksmithing, they would take this knife and they would run it through a very rigorous testing procedure. And to date, no blade has actually successfully lived through it. It will endure it, but by the time they're done testing it, you might have just spent a year and a half making a blade that they demolish in a day. But it goes, I mean, they do mineral testing, they do flexibility testing, sharpness, all sorts of things goes through the test for that blade. So, how else? Well, you know, I can show my stuff. I can go to meetings. We earn different coins that we can show off. In the lithic archaeology field, you have to show your skills in stonework by hand. This was made using antler and riverstone chipped out. You've got to show, you know, functional items. I actually use this in my garden. Show to the meetings, show your skill, be willing to learn, put in the effort. And there's clubs for all of this. The dilemma is we don't have that many clubs for gold prospecting. So putting your dues in has to come in a different way. And case in point, if I go to my mineral and geology, I've got to, you know, I would post on their Facebook nowadays the things that I find, okay? I would tell, you know, I would give the classification, where I found it, show my knowledge and expertise not only in being able to pick up and crack a rock, but in how to clean them, okay? How to preserve them. Now, this right here, somebody was asking what else you can find when you're sluicing. Well, dear laddie, that dar be amber. sluiced it off of a beach in Denmark. Okay. Now, how do you pay your dues with the gold clubs, with the gold prospectors? The only way that we have reliably of doing that is, unfortunately, via Facebook. And unfortunately, anybody can type in a lot of fancy words. Now, what some of the long-term people do is they actually have little boxes, and they put their little vials in the box, and they have them all labeled on what rivers and so on, and they keep their best specimens in here. And when they go to places like the Katse gold panning, when they go to the nationals gold panning competitions or whatever and convene, they carry their little box, and then they take and show off all their gold. Okay, I don't know if you can even see that, because that's not much gold in there. This was a day on Alb, I think. Okay, I don't really keep tabs of that kind of stuff. One of my better ones, though, was this little beauty. Okay, and so you go to the Facebook, you participate, you talk, you convey suggestions. You, as in this case, in some cases, you make YouTube videos and pass them around. This is paying your dues. And my wife got a little upset when I joined the Facebook, and she was sitting there watching, and some of the new people were going, well, where do you go? Can you give me any good spots? And people basically were saying, go find them. I think this is a really asinine way of dealing with new people, old prospectors. All right, they come, they're looking for information. Granted, some of them, they want the easy way out. They want to pick your brain, only go to your spots, and never put any effort in. I understand that. However, there are plenty of regular locations that's well known. Okay, locations on the Schwartz, the Saale, the Alb, or the Elbe. On the Katse, they do a panning thing there for like €5 a day for 2 or 3 days out of the year, specific dates. When people ask for locations, you shouldn't tell them go look. You should give them a bloody location. You people asking for locations, you should not be expecting people that when they produce and show, I'm finding hard load gold in large quantities, digging out of the cliff face, and you go, well, where is it? Because I may have put 3 months of research into that, hiked to the locations, spent days panning, testing, looking at rock formations, hiking over cliffs, in some cases rappelling. Can't do that anymore, but you get to that point sometimes. And I think it's an honest mistake. You think people are just going to tell you where to go. You got to pay your dues, people. You got to pay your dues. I'm putting some effort in here for the Facebook group simply by doing these videos. All right, the research video, the proportional video, the required equipment videos. These are training videos for you new people. And if you don't use them, you're not paying your dues. You're not putting in the effort. A lot of gold panning stuff, even though they can be informative, especially if you're looking at it from an experienced eye. But to a new person, what may seem obvious to you gold panners is forbidden and hidden lore. It's really, both sides need to come to an understanding. The new people need to understand you've got to put in some effort. All right, it's not bad asking where. I might tell you, this gold I got on the knob, or the nave, or I got on the ohm, or I got on the solid. I may not tell you exactly where, but I will give you a river and possibly a general area. I'm going to give you something to get you started. As an experienced panner, I believe it's my obligation to do so. I make an offer to all new people. If you want to learn gold panning, I will teach you. I have enough sluices and equipment and everything to take on an apprentice and teach you all the basics. And you do not have to buy anything except your basic gear. Basic gear being a pair of hip waders, a shovel, a pick, a crowbar, and a couple of buckets. And in the case, I think I've even got the buckets here. It works on both sides. New people need to put in the effort. You got to do some of the research, do some of the legwork, show some of your progress. Okay? You show it by viably finding the gold. You, the experienced prospectors, you do your obligation and duty by giving them locations so they can put in that effort to go find the gold. Just like in the fishing, it may not be the biggest spot, it may not be the best spot, but at least he did catch fish. So that's my tangent and spiel on doing your dues, paying your dues.